I should have figured you would have noticed. Hey, Mr. Alba, how deep are the pools anyway? I'll have you know that the pools are extremely deep. And there are no ladders or footholds along the walls either. It would be difficult for Sheena to hold the body and climb out of the pool. Huh. Ladders or footholds along the walls? There were no need for such things. What do you mean? If one were to use a certain something, they could go up and down the pool at will. Looks like you got an answer already. Well, what are you waiting for, Mr. Prosecutor? Enlighten us already. The way in which Miss Sheena and the body were able to rise up to the ground level. If there was a way to control the water level, that could be the way the body was moved.
Take that!
Mr. Alba used the fountain spouts, in a manner of speaking. He used the fountain spouts. How so? The water level in the pools can be controlled by opening and closing the spouts. Miss Sheena and the body were lifted upward by their buoyancy in water. The fire in the Bobbly side and the firefighting effort. These were all set in motion for the sake of smuggling Mr. Cochin's body. Shall I show you where the final destination of my train of logic leads? First, Mr. Alba closed the fountain spouts in advance, in preparation for things to come. Then he took the pushcart he brought to the rose garden, pushed it along with the Iron Infant and Mr. Cochin's body into the pool. At this time, Sheena was busy conveniently starting the first fire in the ball. She then made for the open air stage to wait for the firefighting effort to begin. When the firefighters used the water in the pool, the water level went down. And by the time the fire was put out, the pipe between the two pools was exposed. This is when she pushed the pushcart from alabaster into the ball. Once that was accomplished, Mr. Alba simply opened the fountain spouts once more. And the water level rose up to the original level along with Miss Sheena and the body. After that, Miss Sheena used the pushcart to carry the body up to the Secretariat's office. There is an elevator in the embassy after all, so you see, even with their small frame, she could have easily transported Mr. Cochin's body. And that wraps up my thorough explanation of how the body was moved. Well, ex-Ambassador Alba, what do you think? Not untouchable without your precious extraterritorial rights to protect you, are you? I knew you could do it, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to fight back. You accuse me of moving the body across country lines, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you don't have what it takes to indict me. The nitty-gritty? What does the old man want now? Proof. I believe that is what he is seeking. Yes. Proof. Without any, who's to say whether or not any of what you said really happened? He wants proof? What are we gonna do, Mr. Edgeworth? There's no need to worry. I've had all the proof we need all along. The body wasn't the only thing to go through the pools connecting the pipe tonight. Just as Detective Gumshoe found the pushcart in the open stage area, so too did I find one other item there. And that final piece of evidence is what will prove that the pools were the smuggling route.
Take that!
And what exactly is this? You have no idea, do you? This little piece that I found in the Bobbly side will be your undoing. A guitar pick? Would you care to explain how this is going to do me in, as it were? Much to your chagrin, perhaps this is not a guitar pick. What? This is something I found in the open air stage, which was transported with the body. I naturally assumed that you would recognize it, since you took a photo with it after all. Since you don't allow me to show you what this fragment from the stage area belongs to.
Take that!
Let us take us a good look at the murder weapon that was used to kill Mr. Cochin. On the handle of this knife, there is an absolutely beautiful blooming flower. However, it would appear that it's missing a single petal. Now let's see what happens when we try to fit this in the pick in its open slot. It's a perfect fit. I assume that the petal must have fallen off the flower just during Mr. Cochin's murder. And then it was accidentally placed into the pushcart along with Mr. Cochin's body. That's an interesting story, nothing more? Oh, I assure you, it's more than just a story. Because for some odd reason, this flower petal was wet when we found it. It was wet, you say? Yes. And the only place it could have gotten wet from is the open air stage's pool. Now I ask you, how did part of a weapon in which was smuggled into the theater wind up in the open air stage on the Bobbly side of the embassy? I don't think I need to waste any words explaining this, as this petal explains it all for me. It proves that someone went from the Rose Garden's pool on through into the ball. Impossible! The people of Zangfa have been waiting to see you face to face, Miss Alba. I'll tell everyone back home we'll be there soon. You should be happy. Why? Why? It's a little late to be asking that question. You should have known from the very beginning. When you took your first life. No matter how you may plot or how you may try to cover it up, you can never hide from your crime and what you've done. Because you weren't to see it. Because we're here to see it, that justice is served to people like you.
Objection!
You can't call what we've given a perfect argument. You know, I don't think this guy is gonna ever admit to his wrongdoing, Mr. Edward. People can't be negotiated with, or people who refuse to admit when they've lost. I don't believe that those kinds of people really exist because everyone breaks eventually. You're right. In that case, I have no choice but to use all the evidence I have. I'll use it all until he breaks under the weight of his crimes. Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more. This is really what will be the end of the line. Oh my god. What? Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more. As if there's anything else for me to testify about. I still have yet to fully prove it was Mr. Alba who killed Mr. Cochin. Well, I would like to hear about your movements before the murder occurred. I wonder if you could tell us about what you did here at the Theatrum Neutralis. Very well. I suppose I could tell you about that. Because all I did was watch the Steel Samurai stage show. Elaborating on that even alone is good enough for me. The only way for me to replace this man under arrest is to pinpoint the exact location. Out of the murder where the murder took place, for that is the key to this investigation. I watched from the last row. The stage was well lit, but it was dark out in the audience. I swear I was there in the audience, but it's hard to prove that, I suppose. I do remember that the contents of the show very well, though. Is that enough proof for you? Those moving scenes were seared into this old man's heart. I'll never forget them. Hmm. Nothing. I don't think anything yet. Of course I was. I have a great fondness for the Steel Samurai. Yeah, it was pretty cool out there, wasn't it? You're not the one who was cool. It's the Steel Samurai who was cool. Yeah, and the Steel Samurai's finishing move today was really something, huh? Hey, Edgy! Who is she? Who is this super cute girl? She's been standing here the whole time and only now he notices her? Her name is Kay Faraday, and she is helping me in my investigation. Sorry I didn't get to introduce myself earlier, but better late than never. Yeah, so Kay, I'm Larry, but... Silence in the peanut gallery. There's no time for such trivialities at a time like this. Mr. Prosecutor, this is the final battle. You got that? I know. This is the end. That man there. Haha. That's the kind of thing I like to hear. I think I'll give trusting you a try, Mr. Prosecutor. Or rather, Mr. Edgeworth. I leave this critical battle up to you, Mr. Edgeworth. Have no fear. I will finish the job. This is really the endgame. The time has come to expose every last one of Mr. Alba's lies.
Hold it!
The last row, I should think that an ambassador would have had a special seating reserved. I wanted my staff to enjoy the Steel Samurai show as well, so I gave up all the good seats for them. It was enough for me to simply see them. Hey, the Steel Samurai wasn't the only hero. Let us not forget about the pink princess here. My dear madam, if you continue to thrust about like that, your hip may begin to hurt again. Oh my, aren't you the considerate one when you want to be? But this young butterfly is on the side of Edgy Poo. So if you can spare me the flirtatious come-ons. Wow, he's completely frozen. In frustration, perhaps. I dare say he can be one rather trying opponent. In any case, Mr. Alba, can you actually prove to us that you were watching the show?
Hold it!
Are you admitting then that you have no way of proving to us that you were watching? Quiet! You buzz in my ear like a pesky little fly. If you don't wish to listen quietly until the end of what I have to say, then perhaps you should pack and get out of my way. I see you're willing to be a bit more receptive now. While it's true that it may be difficult to prove that I was in the out in the audience.
Hold it!
Well, I remember the concept of the show as well myself. That's nice. That's nice. Miles Edgeworth, don't allow yourself to be riled up by him at this important juncture. I wasn't planning to let him. Well, if you ask me, I think I'm the biggest Steel Samurai expert around here. And didn't you think the climactic scene of today's show was just totally awesome? Yes, I remember that well, and that spectacular special move. The way you delivered the final blow against the evil magistrate. Early summer rain jab. Oh, that scene will live in my heart forever. Is that how it went? I totally forgot about that. How can you forget your own name of your own special moves? That's the special attack that the Steel Samurai uses when he's using the Samurai Spear. Yes, today was the first time they showed it off, was it not? If I hadn't watched the show, then how could I answer you with the name of the move? I suppose if you're correct, but if you could, please elaborate on that point for me. The special move today was the early summer rain jab. Is that your final answer? You little irritating net. Do you think you can trip me up by asking the same question over and over? That was not my intention. Your testimony is more than sufficient. However, I believe it would be wise for you to take a look at this. The Samurai Spear. What about it? This spear was actually never made it on stage today. Excuse me? Unfortunately for you, tonight's the samurai happened to be a bit of a goof of the young man with an abundance of useless hot bloodiness. Having said that, said useless man bent the spear during his rehearsal this evening. Okay, do you remember what the Steel Samurai special move was tonight? It was the Steel Samurai Sushi Slash. Correct. Because he couldn't use the spear, a last-minute change was made. Had you actually been watching the show, you would have known that the move... You would have known the move that was used. Kirkus Alba. You didn't even watch a single minute of the Steel Samurai stage show tonight, did you? Aha! So if he wasn't watching the show tonight, then it opens up the possibility he was busy killing Mr. Cochin instead. So where were you during the show? I demand an answer now. Just what is so funny? You're so sloppy. And so are your conclusions. I still insist that I watch the show. Or most of it in any case. What do you mean by most of it? Ah, you see, during the show I left my seat for a spell to visit the bathroom. I suppose that was when the dramatic scene was played out on stage. That's the lousiest, lamest excuse I've ever heard in my life, pal. Just because I got the name of the move wrong. We can't really use that as proof he didn't watch the show at all. As a fan of Steel Samurai, I had wanted to watch the entire show. Honest. Objection! As a Steel Samurai fan? For someone who wasn't even in his seat for the climax of the show, you have no right to call yourself a Steel Samurai fan ever. Who was that just now? It would be I, young lady. Larry, what are you doing interrupting me like that? Edgy, please, hold on for a sec, I beg. You may never accept this old man as a Steel Samurai fan, but I totally think he's a Steel Samaniac. What exactly is a Steel Samaniac, pal? I believe he meant to say filthy samurai maniac. Yeah, and trust me, I know a real fan when I see one because I'm the Steel Samurai.
Objection!
I will never acknowledge you as the true Steel Samurai. What are you getting so worked up over, Mr. Edgeworth? It appears that the real Steel Samurai recognizes me as a fan. As well it should, for I am such a fan. It's not as though I missed the entire show. It was the most amazing show filled with the spirit of the young and the young of heart. Sarcasm dripping from his long wooden nose couldn't be run any thicker. Getting the name of the mover only proves he didn't watch the last scene. What I really need here is something more definitive. Something that links Mr. Albert directly to the murder of Mr. Manny Kochin. You know what, Gramps? You're really something else. I'm honored to receive such praise from the Steel Samurai. But what's it for? Well, I was just wondering how you found out about the early summer rain jab. That move is a bit of a secret that only a small portion of the staff know about. Wait, it was a secret? Larry, wait, what did you just say? Huh? Did I say something stupid again? Did you say that the early summer rain jab was actually a secret? Well, maybe I shouldn't have said secret. It's more like we only decided on the name of the move right before the start of the show. If we only took the advice from Clive and accepted the truth, he'd still be dead, just like his brother, like Joshua. Right before? Yeah, the stage director was nuts because we were supposed to debut the move. About 5 minutes before the show, we threw it up on the dressing room's whiteboard. Early summer rain jab. That's kind of how we decided to name the move. But by that time, I had already bent the spear, so I guess the whole thing was kind of pointless. All of you Steel Samurai actors are the same. The director has my complete sympathy. Long story short, because we changed the move to the sushi slash, we kind of pretended that the early summer rain jab didn't exist at all. I mean, it'd be bad if someone found out we changed the move, so we made it a secret. So basically a gag order was issued for publicity's sake. It almost makes the early summer rain jab sound like a lost art. Yeah, which is why I think most of the staff haven't even heard of the move. Lost art. I mean, lost art. Hold those to yours still. What the heck, old man? I've done nothing but listen, and from what I can tell, it's all very unrelated to the case. It's also very tedious and a pointless exercise in wasting time, much like a kid's show.
Objection!
Mr. Alba, I believe the one who should be quiet now is you. How dare you? Edward Lost Ark first was Nikki, now Lost Ark? I will no! Never! Never! Full gotcha incoming? No, I do not have an alt account. It is not named Infinite Word because there's no alt account. This is the only account. I do not, play Kingdom Hearts 1,000 times. I do not stream Infinite Nikki. I don't play gotcha games. Infinite. I suspect you already noticed exactly what the very severe implications are in this man's testimony. So now you're trying to bully me, huh? They keep... There are no implications to be read in a behind-the-scenes story of a kid's show. Don't even think about trying to slither your way out of this, Kirkus Alba. You were the one who said it to yourself, that the name of that move was Early Summer Rain Jab. But that name was only decided right before the show was about to start. So, just what are you driving at? That the name of the move you told us earlier was never used in the show or said aloud. Now then, would you care to tell us about how you found the name of the move? Because I can only think of one way you could have known. Kirkus Alba, this is the only way you could have known the name of the move. You knew the name of the move because you saw it. You saw it on the dressing room's whiteboard. The staff members who knew were keeping it a secret. So you couldn't have simply gone up to a staff member and asked. Which means that the only other option left is that you saw it on the whiteboard. So that means Mr. Alba was in there at some point, right? But what's the big deal, sir? I don't see what that means. There is another piece of evidence that has a great deal to do with the dressing room. So we can't afford to let that slide.
Take that!
The pushcart that was used to move the body was right there in the dressing room. During the show, the pushcart awaited its turn to be pushed onto the stage in the dressing room. And it was finally pushed on there along with the Iron Infant in the last scene of the show. And right after the show ended, it went into Alabas along with the Steel Samurai. Which means that the only time the killer could have placed the body inside the pushcart was when the pushcart was in the dressing room backstage. So basically, the killer had to be someone who visited the dressing room during the show. Precisely. Oh, but wait, what if, and this is just a what if the murder took place right in the dressing room? What do you mean, Kay? I have to admit, she brings up a valid possibility. During the show, the dressing room was supposed to be devoid of people. Slipping undetected into a private dressing room then would be as simple as pie. The killer must have come up with the idea to move the body with the pushcart then too. Correct, thus making the theater's dressing room the ideal location for the murder of Mr. Manny Cochin. Kirkus Alba, during the show you went down to the dressing room, and I want to know why. Yes, I was there. I went into the dressing room. Knew it! I'm placing you under arrest right now, pal. You got that? Arrest! Not so fast. What is it now? Don't I deserve a chance to explain myself? Explain? What is there to explain? I believe I told you earlier that I went to the bathroom. Well, I got lost when I did. I wanted to ask for directions, but when I opened the dressing room door, no one was inside. And that's when I saw the name of the move on the whiteboard. You punk. Still trying to get out of this. Do you really think you can get away with it at this point? Mr. Edgeworth, is there anything you can do to stop him? I don't have enough evidence on hand to do anything. I don't have the airtight evidence I need to put this man away for good. But if that's what I need, then perhaps... Agent Lang, I believe an investigation in the dressing room is in question. It's possible that we may find new evidence there. Yeah, if Mr. Edgeworth pokes around there, I'm sure he'll find some new facts, pal. Oh, and if we use a little thief, we may even learn something from a recreation. We don't need to do any of that. What? Wolfie, how could you? I'm not saying this to be mean. It's just that we've already searched there. My men really are something else. And they found nothing? There's only one thing I can say to you, sis, and it's that they found nothing. That's it. I guess you're right. If they found something, they would have reported it to us. They couldn't find anything because there was nothing there to find. And if there's no info to feed into Little Thief, then I couldn't do much to help either. Is this the end? The murder took place in this theater, which is not protected under extraterritorial rights. And the fact that it was Mr. Alba himself who committed the murder. If I can't prove both statements to be true, Mr. Alba walks away a free man. Is there no other course